Hey everybody, we're Geeking Out Ninjas, and we're here to geek out. Craig, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, Jeremiah. How are you?
I'm doing really good for today. It's for me, it's been a good day. So I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this.
Nice.
It's a good day. A
It's
lot
a
of
good
stuff going on.
day.
What I'm hoping for this week is that we get a little bit better recording. A little rough last week.
Yeah. So I asked some people who actually listen at work. I have a couple
Uh,
people, and they were like, "Yeah, it wasn't that bad." Like there were a couple delays here and there, but other than that, it wasn't that bad. So
yeah, I got the same feedback.
we faked our way through it.
So we did. So we're going to keep working on that. And, probably if we didn't say anything, nobody would notice.
It is possible people wouldn't notice.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my fault.
So give us the pre-cap here. What's going on tonight?
Pre-cap. I was not ready for this for some reason. The pre-cap, we're going to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Teach you how to use your smart lights better.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about Marvel's Black Widow. You can never have too much Marvel Cinematic Universe in one show.
It's Phase 4. Come on.
We're going to tell you how to get some free PlayStation games and what our 3 music must-haves are. It's kind of it's I feel like we got a little liberal on this one. We kind of just were like, it's whatevs.
I agree. We'll talk about it. We'll get there. But yeah. I was kind of I'll explain my choices and what I did.
I did the same thing, so it's whatevs.
Okay, so that's cool. That's cool. Well, let me tell you what I did this weekend before we get into Marvel.
Please do.
So we decided that it was a beautiful weekend. So let's do. Oh, and I don't have the pictures. I got to show a picture.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to try to talk and look for the picture at the same time. So we decided to do some work outside in our backyard, and it was it was going to be a pretty easy weekend. We did a little bit on Saturday and a little bit on Sunday. I got sunburned on my neck, and towards the end of the afternoon on Sunday, we decided, and we've been talking about this. We have like 2 small palm trees in the backyard, in the corner, and we had read that what happens is that when they turn yellow, you got to like get in there and chop them.
And when they turn yellow, chop a fellow.
Yeah, chop all the prawns, fawns, leaves, whatever. Right? You just got to chop them.
Do it. Chop.
So we got the hedge trimmer.
Yep.
And this is a great time. And we decided, like I said, they're 2 small palms. Like, how long is this going to take? 3.5 hours later. Let me tell you, crazy. So I'm going to see if I can share this photo here of how much.
So was it just because the hedge trimmer wasn't cutting through them, or it was just that much to cut? Like what?
Oh,
why did it take so long?
It cut them. Very easily. There was no problem. The hedge trimmer worked really, really well. The problem came when, they're pokey. I don't know if you've ever cut palms. They're pokey.
I do it all the time.
And then getting them out, because they're in like a raised kind of like flower bed thing.
Okay.
And so there's the picture.
Yeah.
Look, see, and we only got the 2 little stumps there.
Yeah, but that's a lot. That's a lot. That's on the ground.
But on the bottom, like there was like 2 more, and like they were just all coming out, and it didn't look like a lot. But dang, man, it was crazy. Let me see if I got another photo here. Let me go back.
I feel like we need to describe this for the people who can't see it. It's a really it's a lovely lamp. How tall is that? Like 3 feet high by like 5 or 6 feet wide?
He's 5'8".
I know, but it's not even across the whole thing, is it?
Yeah.
Maybe 4 feet high?
4 feet high. Yeah, probably a good 6 feet. I mean, it's not 4 feet all the way across, but it at its highest, it's 4 feet.
Yeah.
And then it's, about 6 feet wide. I mean, tons and tons of these leaves. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Like 20 square feet of palm leaf.
Yeah, I mean, it was so crazy. And okay, and so because of this, I have to share just a part of what's amazing about doing this. So we finally get it done, and we pull it out of the little bed, and then it comes across our mind, what do we do with them?
Yeah, that's true.
Now that we've cut them and poked ourselves, we only had one pair of gloves. So first I just was doing everything, and then we figured out if my wife picks them up, I could cut them.
Yeah.
So we're like, what do we do? So we put out on the neighborhood app for our neighborhood, and we asked, does anybody have a number for lawn people or whatever to, come pick this up? We don't know what to do with it.
Do you not have bulk pickup coming up?
Well, even so, I mean, seriously, dude, like, I'm not putting that in a bag.
No, you don't have to put it in a bag for bulk pickup. You just throw it out in the front yard.
I don't know when bulk pickup is, but that's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot. And
our bulk pickup's coming on Monday, so
it's pokey. And one pair of gloves. Remember, we got one pair of gloves, and it's Sunday evening.
Yeah.
So I mean, Walmart's open. It's not like we live in the middle of nowhere, but so we put it on the neighborhood app. I just want to share this. This is amazing. So someone responds to my wife on Monday, because she puts it Monday morning, like by 11, she gets a response. There's someone in our neighborhood. This dude, his name's Ray.
Yep. Just
comes and puts it in his truck. Just out of the goodness of his heart. He blessed us. Like, it's amazing. It was just an amazing outpouring of, like, hey, I'm your neighbor. I'll do it for you. And I was at work, and so we did have the son-in-law help actually put him in his truck. But no, he just loaded him in the back of his Ford truck, and he took it down for us. I mean, it was amazing. Like,
maybe Ray has ulterior motives. Maybe he's a little weird, and he likes eating palm leaves.
We thought that at first, because it's just weird, because the message came back with a phone number, but when you meet the guy, he was just, salt of the earth, just amazing. Turns out his, it's hard to tell. I don't think he's like over 50. So he's probably pretty close to my age, because his daughter goes to the same private school that ours go to. No, he tells me, he shares this, he's been out of work since the pandemic.
Maybe he knows someone else he can sell them to.
He might, but he wouldn't take any money. And he was like, no, I'm going to do this to bless you. You just pass it on.
Nice.
And he prayed with us afterwards. I mean, I was just man, that's an amazing dude. Let me tell you. And just, glory to God to send him our way. And just, man, I was just blown away by his neighborly love and just awesome dude. So I wanted to share that, because that was just
props to Ray.
Yeah.
For being a sweet, sweet guy.
I 100%. So that was my weekend story.
That's good.
Amazing. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
So I feel like I have to preface this to some degree. So I don't
even know what it is. I'm looking at the notes. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, so I'm not a big gun person. Like, I've shot guns, mainly my dad's. Actually, my grandfather's 270. It's like a
shotgun.
It's like a hunting rifle.
Oh, okay.
So I've shot that before. But my dad's obsessed with World War II. Almost anything you could think to ask about World War II, he'd probably have an answer for it, and he'd regale you with stories for hours. So
he knows about Captain America, Steve Rogers in World War II.
Exactly. You might regret asking him questions about it. Sometimes I don't even ask him about it, and I get a long story about some new thing he's found out from watching some video on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I yawn my way through it. So my dad has been obsessed with getting an M1 Garand, which is the main infantry rifle that the Americans used in World War II.
Okay.
I think part of that has to do with his. So his dad died when he was 7, when my dad was 7, and so we never really got to know his dad a whole lot. But he did serve in World War II, and so he has this idea that maybe if he bought one in his mind, it's one of those things where maybe there's a possibility. A fraction of a possibility that his dad may have held this M1 Garand.
Sure, yeah.
Even if the probability is like slim to none. Just the thought of it. Yeah, and so he bought one. It was I think it was about $1,000.
Whoa.
So it's not cheap, but it's also not expensive for what an M1 Garand rifle goes for.
Sure.
You can get these things for like $4,000-$5,000. Like they can be expensive.
Was it safe to shoot?
Yeah, it's safe to shoot. It was. I don't know the whole backstory, like where he got it from and all that stuff. There's a specific like civilian something or other organization that you buy it from. They get it from the military, and then you can buy it from them. Anyways, so we went to a shooting range, an indoor shooting range. I won't name any names just because whatevs. And he had invited me to go and he's been wanting to do something like this for a long time, just like a father-son sort of deal.
Sure, yeah.
And so we went and we got to shoot this thing. And I enjoy certain aspects of World War II as well. And I'm obsessed with the miniseries like Band of Brothers and and those kinds of things. I've seen that probably, I don't know, like 10 times. So it was pretty cool to shoot this rifle. There's a specific like ping noise that you hear whenever the clip discharges from the gun. So you put 7 rounds in the clip, you top load this clip in the gun.
Okay.
And at the end you hear this distinctive ping noise. So that was kind of cool. I mean, if you're really into this sort of thing, I mean it's pretty cool. So we did that for a while. I did pretty well.
Yeah.
Seeing as how I've never shot that and we had never zeroed it in. We were kind of doing it as we went. We only had so many rounds just because you have to buy specific rounds for this.
Sure.
You can't buy like modern ammunition just because it'll blow out the.
So he had to order that as well.
Yeah, he had to order that, I think, online.
Yeah. You can't just go into the gun shop and pick up that ammo.
Well, I think ammunition is really hard to get right now anyways, just because there's a war coming or something. I got another story on that, but I won't share on the podcast. So it was hard to get, but it was just the historical nostalgia of shooting something like that was pretty cool.
So was this is it certified that it was actually used? Or do you know?
My dad has all the paperwork on all that stuff. I don't know if this particular one was. I think the ones that are like field used are the ones that are like super expensive.
Oh, sure.
But it's a pretty heavy gun too, surprisingly. So he's got a 270, and I always thought that one was pretty beefy, but this one was like much heavier. I don't know, like double the weight. It was insane.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like all wood except for obviously the metal parts that need to be metal. But yeah, it was pretty cool. My dad, grinning from ear to ear.
Nice.
He was like, I feel like a kid on Christmas. So yeah, we had a good time doing that. Spent about an hour or so.
Well, nice, man.
Saturday, I think it was Saturday.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's good. I think I shot a gun once.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it. Although I'm not I'm not a big gun person. Like I don't own a gun. I don't necessarily believe in people owning certain guns. So,
well,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm pretty good at laser tag. If that's kind of the same thing.
Same.
paintball hurts, so I don't do that very often.
Yeah, bullets hurt a little bit more.
I guess so. I don't know. I've never been shot by a bullet, so
Same.
I can't say anything about that. One of the few things that haven't injured me at this point in my life. Well, awesome. Well, okay. So, did you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I did watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
So,
I want to hear your thoughts first. No,
you want to hear my thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay. So, awesome. Okay. So, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to try not to give any spoilers. I'm just going to talk about like how it's shot.
A ton of spoilerage content.
I mean, probably not. And it's already, it's almost, well, by the time you're hearing this, the next one will be out. So then shame on you.
Shame.
I thought that this was more grittier than any previous Marvel Cinematic Universe output. And by that, like, it wasn't quite Logan, that step that Fox took.
Oh yeah. But
I will say that there was a lot of action and a lot of death, surprisingly.
And you're talking about the first action scene?
Well, the first one with the Winter Soldier. Well, I guess in the first one too, there was a lot of explosions.
Yeah.
But I felt it was just like, and maybe because it's an episode and not a theatrical release, maybe I just felt like it was a lot of action packed into that shorter period of time.
Sure.
But there was, a few choice words said throughout the episode, and I just felt like it was a little bit dirtier version of what Marvel's Disney's put out as far as Marvel's concerned. So I liked it.
You liked it?
Well, and it had a touch of, so, with WandaVision, it was very comic bookish, there's a lot of magic and a lot of things going on, but this was almost like more real. Like you could almost, a guy flying around with
with wings
isn't, but
Toad's realistic
and a metal arm, but I guess the action felt more realistic, and it felt like an action movie in a sense.
Yeah, I think what you're maybe thinking is it's more grounded in reality versus it's a real world setting versus WandaVision feels like it's a TV show to some degree. Mm-hmm. And then obviously the magic and all that stuff come in a little bit later, and so then it becomes a little more fantastical. But yeah, I see what you're saying there. For me it was just okay. I know that's going to be meh. The action scenes were all right. I want to harp on the same thing that everybody else has been harping on. I don't know if you've been reading reviews of the show. Like how does Sam not have money to keep his family's business going? Like, he's an Avenger. Surely there would have been numerous ways for him to have made money. Book deals, like commercials.
But think about that though. And see, that's what I liked about it. This, if you think about, that he's an Air Force guy. Doesn't mean he can write a book. And Stark's gone.
It doesn't have to be like a big old tell-all, but this is what I encountered.
Yeah, he was a guy that was just counseling people before he met Captain America. And like when you look at the movies, the Avengers, they all lived on that campus and everything was paid for because of Stark.
Yeah.
They're not there anymore. Like, it's a real world.
Or are they?
Well, that's the problem. Right? They're trying to create because they never explain how do any of these people make their money besides Stark. You never told how they live.
They don't really deal with financial.
That's right.
Stuff. So they all live. They all live in a hostel, living off of one rich guy.
That's a great perspective, actually. I like the way you put that.
Doing whatever he tells them to. Come on, guys, let's go fight this stuff, or I'm going to kick you out of the hostel. I'm not going to feed you today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the action was really good. I feel like there was a bit of a lull in the actual like non-action parts. Not because it wasn't like action, but it just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't land real well for me.
Okay.
So I mean, we'll see. It's the first episode, so
Yeah.
can't be like super critical of it.
Well, I'll say I didn't like the Falcons story line that they're given with the whole fishing thing and everything. I do like learning about how Bucky has to deal with what he's done in the last 80 years. Yeah. That's interesting to me. What's going on with Falcon about keeping the family boat, I really could care less, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's one of those things is like you got to balance it, so you got to show both sides. You want to tell more of the character's story and all that stuff, so you got to make something up at least, right?
Right.
Whether they make it interesting going forward, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I hope they will. I think sometimes even the first episode of WandaVision I thought was a little slow.
Yeah.
Actually, the first couple of them, it took a while till you really hit something and it hit its stride. But there's only 6 of these?
I know. Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but I think they said they plan on making like all the Marvel shows like 6 hours long. So however they divide that up for each show, some will be 30 minutes, some would be 40 minutes, whatever, but it'll be 6 hours long. So
yeah. Well, I will tell you what I did also this weekend is I restarted watching Breaking Bad.
Oh, did you really?
I did, and I'm on episode 4 or 5. Yeah, I thought you know what? I hadn't watched it in years, so I thought, well, we had a great conversation last week, which if you haven't listened to or watched, definitely go back and watch. It's our favorite TV shows that we would take on Desert Island. Breaking Bad being your number one choice, I guess, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
Just brilliant. I'm just enjoying it again. So that's all I have to say.
Fantastic.
All right. What's next?
Let's move on to the news, Jeremiah. Perfect. We need to add like a soundboard with just random stuff.
We do.
Smart lights.
Oh yeah. Did you read this article?
I didn't actually read this article.
I like this. So I'm sure you have some smart lights.
Tons.
Yeah, I haven't outfitted my whole house yet, so I've got a few. But this is a great article because it kind of helped you understand how they work and how our habits and how we use electricity right now. And so just a few little tips to make us smarter when it comes to using our smart lights. So what they were talking about basically is we can change out all the light bulbs that we want.
Yep.
And then, we'll tell them, turn on bedroom light or whatever. But it seems like just as humans, our go-to is turning on and off the switch. And so the problem comes where if we're walking out of a room and we're not realizing, oh, hey, Google or Alexa, turn this light off, we hit the switch, then we're kind of not using the smart bulb or the smart lights. So, one of the things they talk about in this article was to change out your wall switches from just the typical up and down to a smart switch, or even they go on further in the article to talk about even doing a sensor. So then you don't even have to talk, right? It senses when people come in and out, which is, do you have any of those? I don't yet.
So yeah, what's funny to me is everybody always talks about stuff like this, and I've kind of already done it because I've kind of come to the same conclusions. It's like, I think smart bulbs are good for lamps, or maybe if you live in an apartment or something where you can't change out the light switches, and then you really have to cover the light switch,
right?
Because you can't. I mean, you run into that issue where you turn it off, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Hey Alexa, turn on my," and you're like, "Son of a."
I've done the electrical tape.
Yeah,
over the light switch.
I think they have specific. I think Philips Hue might have like specific covers for some of theirs. But yeah, like almost every. So I have like smart light switches in every room in my house, multiple in some rooms. I have smart switches for my ceiling fans, which so it kind of blows my mind how this works. So none of my fans have like the pull chain or anything like that.
Right.
But you can tell it to go to like low, medium, or high, and it knows how to do it. So I don't know if there's like an electrical current change that makes that happen, or like how the fan knows that the light switch is telling it, because the switch in the light, they're not, or the switch in the fan, they're not talking. So it's just like the switch is doing its own thing, and now the fan's like adjusting. So I'm wondering if there's like a different like electrical current that happens that changes the speed.
That's a great question for an electrical engineer or an electrician. But yeah, so that makes me think I need to get some smart switches. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And so that's why reading articles helps me. But we're not as smart as Craig, where we know to get these things.
Well, I've been doing this for a few years now, so.
Well, I'll say I've had a much better experience with the Philips Hue. Now, I haven't bought anything besides the Philips Hue bulb.
Yeah.
But I do know people that have bought some of the other ones, and they're like terrible. It's
the bulbs
bad
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can be real bad. That's the thing about the smart bulbs, is like everybody wants one, and then they try to get like the inexpensive one, and you really do get what you pay for with the smart bulbs.
100%. So, but it makes sense that if you're in a home and it's a relatively inexpensive way, instead of having to replace every light bulb, replace the switches.
Yeah, the switches. Yeah, they do. As long as you don't need to change colors or want to change colors, then the switches end up saving you tons of money, because those, depending on which one you get, I think can go from like $20 to $40. I actually have in two places in my house. I have a smart switch that is also has a motion sensor in it, so it'll turn on. It'll turn on and off if someone's in or not in the room. So I have that in my kitchen, and then also in our laundry room.
Nice.
So, and then I have non-smart motion sensors in like the bathrooms and stuff like that. But
and I'm thinking about it, like for the most part, like we really only use lamps in the living areas. Yeah. But in the kitchen we use all the lights, and in the bathroom we use all the lights, because I need to see everything in the bathroom to make sure everything is like in order. So,
you're so pretty.
I don't know why I shared that additional information. I just, All right.
Moving on to the next article.
Good transition.
Yeah. Speaking of pretty, Black Widow about to hit Disney Plus on July 9th, day and date, aka same day as it releases on theaters.
Yeah, which is July 9th.
For $30. For $30.
I don't know what to think about this, because everybody's doing this right now. And I get it during the pandemic, like this is the only way to get your content out, but I don't know.
It's the only way to make money on your content. So I mean, they've done this with two movies already. They did it with Mulan, I think, last year, and then they did it with Raya and the Last Dragon.
Right. Neither of which I've seen.
Raya and the Last Dragon is actually really good. I've heard Mulan's not that good.
Yeah, I heard Mulan was
$30. It's a good price if you think about it. Think about taking your family to the movies, even at like a matinee. I think it's still like $8 a person at matinee or something like that. You take 4 or 5 people, you're already past that number.
True.
And it's cheaper to buy snacks and soda and popcorn at your own house.
It is, but
it's
the experience. And maybe I don't know. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's just it's the experience for me.
I completely understand. Yeah, I love the theater. I love going to Alamo Drafthouse. Give me like some real food, like give me that whole experience. What?
Real butter.
Real butter.
On the popcorn. They use real butter. They don't use the hydrogenated.
I think I've only gotten popcorn twice there.
Ooh, it's good.
Yeah. It is good, and it's like gigantic, the biggest bowl you could ever imagine.
Yeah, because they bring out as much as you want, because it's unlimited.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Drafthouse does so many things right, and I love every minute of it. And I love going to Drafthouse, but I'm just not gonna go to the theater right now. Like, I want to enjoy these movies, and I feel like they've been waiting a whole year to release this movie. And the more they push it back, it's gonna mess up all the other stuff that they want to release. So I could see why they've done a couple family movies so far, and they're like, okay, these did well enough to where we feel safe releasing this movie and making enough money on it to make it a viable solution and not screwing up the rest of our slate for, you know, the next like 5 years.
True. I get that, but I'm ready to get back to the movie theater. Yeah. I'm vaccinated, so I guess maybe that's part of it. But I'm, you know, but and two, I'll say when I was in your stage, as far as having younger children, we didn't go to the theater for several years because it's you know, when you have younger kids, it's tougher to get there and it's tougher to enjoy yourself, and they don't want to sit in the movie. And
I don't go with kids to the movie. I don't want to be that family, because I've been to the theater with those families, and I'm like, why would you bring your kids? That kid's not paying attention. That's a lot of money.
It depends on the movie, and it depends on when the movie. Like, I would never take them the first month of a release because
that's what I love about Draft House. It's like kids cannot be in that theater, which is fantastic. Right.
Well, they do have a mommy.
They do. They have I think it's like Daddy, Tuesdays, like before like a certain time you can go. Right. Take
the volume's a little bit less. The lights are on a little bit higher so that they can be distracting if they want to. But and I went to one of those by mistake. I didn't realize. Well, and it turns out nobody else was in the theater.
Oh,
this is when. So when I was self-employed, there were days where, you know, I didn't have anything to do, so I'd go see a movie.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you which movie it was, but I was like, oh, it's bright in here. Oh yeah.
You go out there, you're like, can you turn the lights down?
After 3 beers, I looked around like, am I the only one drinking here? No, I didn't do that. Yeah. But so
are you a Slash Shazam kid?
It's I get it, but I enjoy the movie theater, and I'll be happy when we all feel safe that we can go back and enjoy the experience, because it's different. It's a big screen. It's sound everywhere. It's a distraction, I guess. And when I'm home, I want to, you know, I get up, I got to go to the bathroom, I do all these other things, you know. So
it's a completely different experience for sure. I'll be honest. I'll be fully vaccinated. I'll get I guess not fully. I have to preface that. So I'll have my second shot on April 10th. So then, you know, 2 weeks after that, I'll be good to go. So I'll probably go see this in the theater, to be honest. My wife will be fully vaccinated by then too.
Right.
It's maybe the first movie I go back to see in the theater.
What was the last one you saw?
Oh God, I have no idea.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I'd probably have to look in my Alamo Drafthouse app. It's been a long time.
Is that the only place you go?
It's probably like 95 to 99% of the places I go.
So
I go to like Embassy every once in a while.
That's
by my house.
We did Draft House quite a bit because we lived in Cibolo, which was north of San Antonio, just south of New Braunfels. So we would go there until they opened up a Santikos and an Evo, like in our neighborhood, basically.
Yeah. Both geared towards families.
And they are, and their VR was actually kind of cool at Santikos. But we liked Santikos better than the Evo. Oh, and there's a whole terrible backstory to those two theaters. I'll go ahead and tell you because there's no secrets here. So Santikos had planned on building a family center and a theater it actually is in, I think that's in Cibolo. It's weird how the city lines are. And then Evo hired one of Santikos' executive vice president or something. Yeah. And so they knew that Santikos was building, but it was taking a long time to get developed and get the permits and everything, because they were building a just whole big shopping center. And if you've been on 35, you've seen it. And so Evo sniped one of their executives who knew that was going on. So they decided to build in Shirts, which is actually right across the street, but they threw up their building like quick, a lot quicker than Santikos. And you can kind of tell. Just the feel. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
Just not great.
It's not, you know, and Santikos has been in a San Antonio institution for such a long time.
Yeah.
They were here, and then they sold to Act 3 and then Regal or whatever. But, I mean, it was a better feel at Santikos. So I like them right now. But I do like the Draft House.
Yeah. I'll go to some Santico. Those are the only two I'll go to. I go to the Embassy, which is by my house, and then I've gone to Palladium, which it's okay, but
It's okay.
I've been to other places too. But so last movie I saw in the theater, I'm pretty sure it was at Draft House. It was 1917 on January 11th.
Ooh.
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. I'll be honest. I'd have to look probably at the Santico's app. The last one I remember was episode 9.
Okay.
That's the last one I remember. Is that the last one I went to? I don't know. That's the last one I remember seeing.
Yeah, that was the third to the last movie I saw, I think.
Yeah.
Not a great way to go out, that's for sure.
Because that would have been what, December?
Yeah, December
of 18?
2019.
Or 2019? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm old, man. I don't remember any of that.
It was not a good movie.
Because then I started working full time at a place, so I couldn't go there, in the middle of the afternoon to go see a movie anymore. So,
I would definitely be jealous of being able to just go to the theater in the middle of the day.
Oh, it's amazing. If you can ever do it, please do it. It's fun.
All right. So next, electric vehicle talk, because I do love me some electric vehicles. So Rivian, I think I talked about Rivian once before on this podcast.
Yeah, very briefly.
Rivian is a new US-based electric vehicle startup. They are releasing their first vehicles this year in the summer, but they just announced that they will be installing more than 10,000 fast chargers in North America by 2023. I think this is fantastic. So they're going to have quite a few.
Can we show the map? I'm going to show the map.
Okay.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. This particular article doesn't tell you how many they're going to have by the end of this year, but they're going to have quite a few by the end of this year.
Right.
So that's one of the biggest differentiators between Tesla and everybody else. Tesla has their own network, and you can guarantee that you can go pretty much anywhere with your Tesla throughout the US without having to worry about, oh crap, am I going to be able to charge?
Right.
Some of the other car manufacturers are trying to get connected with like Electrify America, which is run by the VW Auto Group, and it's a lot of level 2 chargers, which is real slow charging. And it's just not great. Like if you want to be on that network, go for it, but I wouldn't. I mean, that's like the lowest of the low for me. Like if I were to want to charge somewhere, it'd be like, oh my God, I'm desperate. This is the only place I can charge. I might do that, but it's going to take me like, I don't know.
Are they interchangeable then?
So a level 2 charger is normally, and I'm going to get super nerdy with you.
Yes, that's super geeky.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the level 2 chargers predominantly use a plug called a J1772. It's a universal charger. So Rivian will actually have some of these in their network, but they'll be like destination chargers. So you show up at like a national park, you'll have a J1772 plug. So you're not going to need to charge real fast, or you go to a hotel or something. It's going to be a slower charge. It takes 25. So it's 25 miles added to your car every hour on that, which is real slow, right?
That's slow.
Yeah, so that's one of those, like, you're going to be there for a while, not a problem, plug in, and you're good to go.
Right.
They will have a bunch of fast chargers as well, which are normally like level 3 chargers. Those things, I don't know specifically what Rivian's speed is, but I know with Tesla's, it's like insanely fast. Takes like 30 minutes to charge your car from 0 to 80%, which is a lot of miles.
Right. So on these level 2 chargers, like, how do you pay for that?
So with most of these, they're all like different services, which kind of sucks.
Do you have to download like another app or
You
something?
either have to have like a different app for every single one. I think some of them might take a credit card. Yeah, so it's kind of awful. That's what I love about the Tesla one. I literally just show up. My card's already in my Tesla app or with my Tesla account. I just plug in and I'm charging. So Rivian's going to have the same exact experience where you just show up to one of these sites and you plug in and you're good to go. One of the cool things about this that Tesla doesn't have is they want to be known as like an adventure brand, right? So that's their whole marketing thing is like they expect you to take this thing out and like enjoy nature, do that kind of thing.
While using fossil fuels. I mean, electricity's still fossil.
Some of it, not all of it.
Okay, you can tell yourself that.
We can find a breakdown of throughout the whole U.S.
Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's better than gasoline.
Okay.
For multiple reasons. We don't have to get into it during this show. We can do a whole show where it's just me talking about electric vehicle technology.
That's a future episode, everybody.
Perfect. Once we get past this 3 things in the desert island series that we're doing. But yeah, so they'll have like places different chargers in places like national parks and different parks that you wouldn't normally see like a Tesla charger. So I think it's cool that they're encouraging you to go out to these places and charge your car and use an electric vehicle when you're going to those places to keep nature clean, if you will.
Of course.
See?
That's good stuff.
And the last thing I had, this actually starts, if you're watching this or listening to this, it actually started yesterday for you, on Thursday, March 25th. So they're giving away some free, PlayStation's giving away some free games as part of their Play at Home initiative, which they did last year. Yes, Jeremiah.
I paid for Subnautica for my son. I just that's just.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
Do you
just
like
breaks
that?
my heart. I don't know. I didn't play it.
Oh, you didn't
But
play
I just spent money on it. I'm like, now we could have got it for free had he just waited 2 years or whatever.
2 years.
Anyways, go on. I'm just
Yeah,
free games.
So some of these, I think most of these games are a little bit on the smaller side. So none of these are like AAA games or anything like that.
Sure.
They did give away Ratchet and Clank, which came out in 2016, which I highly recommend for anybody. But some of these games are pretty fun. So Res Infinite is one I haven't played, so I'm looking forward to playing that one. They actually have VR for that one as well, which I've heard is a pretty crazy experience with Res. The Witness I played, super hard puzzle game. I did not finish that game because I felt super stupid. And I started looking up like answers and I was like, this kind of defeats the purpose of this.
Yeah.
So I stopped playing that. But if you're really into puzzle games, The Witness, super good. I'm not sure about a lot of these. Astrobot Rescue Mission, which is a PlayStation VR game. Amazing. Loved that game in VR. That is one game like I could probably play again, but it's like a platformer in virtual reality, which some of the things that they do in this game kind of blew my mind. So you're literally like, you're having to like turn around to move him and like certain spaces are hidden from you if you're just looking straight at it. You can like kind of lean forward and lean over and kind of see where he's going to find secret areas and do different things. But you also get involved in the game. So you're using a controller to control him, but you're also interacting with the world while you're controlling him and doing different things. It's super immersive, super awesome. Really loved Astrobot. Definitely recommend that one if you haven't played it. Obviously, you have to have PlayStation VR.
Sure.
But really good. So one of the big ones, which will not be available until April 19th, one of my favorite PS4 games was Horizon Zero Dawn. So they're giving this game away for free. Obviously, there's a new Horizon game coming out this year on PS5.
Okay.
Horizon Zero Dawn was an amazing game. If you have not played that game and you have a PS4, you owe it to yourself to download this game and play it. Open world game.
I've never played it.
open world RPG game where you are Aloy. You're playing as Aloy, and the story is so good in this game. Humanity has essentially all died out, and they have created a system to essentially restart humanity. And so I won't give any more away. If you actually play the game and you want to go through the whole story, it goes into that a whole lot more. But you come back as Aloy, and you are fighting essentially robot dinosaurs, which is freaking amazing to fight. The combat in this game is really good. Being able to combine and do different weapons and whatnot using a bow and arrow. Super fun.
April 19th.
Recommend it. April 19th to May 14th. I think that's the window you have to download this game for free. Would definitely check it out. If you don't, you will regret it if you tell me that you have not played it after it was free.
Actually, I'm just now looking. My son moved his PS4 down here to my office, so maybe that's something I'll have to do.
You can hook it up to your TV in your office.
It is. It's hooked up. I just have to learn how to turn it on now.
Perfect. All right. So now it's time to talk about our 3 music must-haves for the desert island.
Yes. Okay. So what we did, because this was kind of hard. Like I couldn't just pick like 3 songs. Like that's just not real.
Or just an album or things like that. It's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we picked a playlist.
You picked a playlist. I didn't pick a playlist.
Okay, so this is what I chose. I chose a playlist. I chose a full set.
A full discography of a band.
Yes. And then I chose my favorite album.
I thought you did. I thought that was a really good way to do it. So that way you kind of give a little bit of everything. I did not do it that same way. Just because I'm not a big playlist person. So.
Well, and so I am not like, okay, so I'm old, I guess. This is what my daughter tells me. I'm old. So my playlist is on Pandora.
Sure.
Right. And I'll just go ahead. Yeah, so I have Spotify and I've created my own playlist, but so my pick, I'm just going to go ahead and start since I'm already into this.
Do it.
So my Imagine Dragons playlist on Pandora is like perfect for me because it has 3 or 4 bands, Imagine Dragons, 21 Pilots is always on there, and the Lumineers.
Yep.
The Black Keys show up once in a while. And then that banjo band, gosh, that other band just slipped my mind.
Banjo band? What the hell?
They have a banjo. And I love them.
Who has a banjo? You're not talking about the Head and the Heart, are you?
No,
okay.
No, they're more popular than that. I don't even know who that is.
The Head and the Heart's pretty popular.
Are they?
Yeah.
No, Mumford and Sons.
Oh, okay, Mumford and Sons, yeah.
All right. But anyways,
they were popular for a short. I don't know how popular they're anymore. But yeah, I like them too.
I know.
It's
kind of faded away a little bit, but I will say this Pandora list, for whatever reason, just like hits the songs, and a few new ones are added in, but it's just this curated list for me basically, and every song that comes on pretty much is just hits me, and so that's my first must-have music on a desert island will be my Pandora Imagine Dragons list. It just hits me. I'm a huge fan of Imagine Dragons, so I like all their stuff.
I do like Imagine Dragons as well.
And so I got this. That playlist is just like when I'm in a mood or when I need just something I can yell at because I don't sing. I put this list on, and it
start busting out with Radioactive. I know
Radioactive, Believer. I mean all these songs. So, anyways. Thunder, it's great stuff. That's my playlist. That's what I like.
That's good.
That's my first.
That's good. So mine are not in any particular order. I'm gonna do this one first though. So the Hamilton soundtrack from the musical. I've seen this musical 3 times on Disney Plus. I'm not ashamed to say it. I've been to the live musical.
We haven't yet.
You haven't, or you have?
No, we have not. But my son has watched it probably 10 times on Disney Plus. He loves it.
Yeah, I could probably watch it more if it wasn't 3 hours. It's hard to find 3 hours consecutively when you have small kids. The songs are so good in this. I think the thing that would be really nice about this is I feel like if you listened to it enough with another person, you could just like start acting it out. Like you could have fun doing that kind of thing. Like it wouldn't just be like listening to the music. Obviously, I like the music, and I think Lin-Manuel Miranda's kind of a genius. But yeah, you could totally just like start acting this out as like another form of entertainment for you on the desert island. So
well, that would be entertaining for me to see you doing that on a desert island. I think that would be awesome.
It would be entertaining for all of us.
When I watch it now, I'm just going to think about you on a desert island doing the whole thing.
Doing all the parts.
Yes. Good. No, I've heard it's good. I haven't. My son has told me I need to watch it with him. It's just, yeah, it's the 3-hour thing that's kind of like taking us aback a little bit. It
goes so fast, at least for me. Like it doesn't feel like 3 hours, but obviously it consumes 3 hours. So
yeah,
put that into perspective.
My son's going to really enjoy this fact about you, Craig, and that you like this. He'll probably talk to you the next time you see him. So
perfect.
There's a plus there. So my second one will be my favorite album. And this is a way throwback to the 80s. And it's Beastie Boys' License to Ill. I know every song on this album.
Yeah.
Every song.
It's a good album.
Very good. And I can put it on again if I want to just rap. This is what I put on because, and I even know, like, I knew the order that these songs were on the album for the longest time as well. That's pretty pathetic. But I mean, they had a lot of good stuff, but this album was like it was, I guess, their first popular success. I like their story.
I wouldn't doubt that this is probably their biggest album.
Probably. But all of their music, like even after, I know Paul's Boutique was after this one, which is actually like a even better album. It just didn't get the commercial success that this one did. I think they're geniuses too in the way that they did hip hop and pulled tracks in and did a lot of different things. It's interesting to see. I don't know if you've ever seen any YouTube videos, but they did a book tour.
I don't watch YouTube.
Oh,
just kidding.
They did a book tour because they wrote this big book. It's when one of them passed away and his just name slipped my mind. But they went around and pretty much did almost like a slideshow about the book and told stories. And I've watched clips here and there, and it's just interesting to listen to their perspectives on where they started back in the late 70s, early 80s, and where they, ended up now. And really impressive, just really kind of gave insight to what they were doing, and just one of my just all-time favorite albums from start to finish, License to Ill.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good pick.
Thank you.
Weird. It's weird to see them as old men too.
I know it is. It is, and that they were, on MTV Raps and all these other like dance shows in the 80s. Just crazy.
They were hip and cool, and now they're just old dads. So.
I know.
It's funny how life just takes you through all those different things. I'm trying to think of which one is better to go with. I'll go for number 2. I always have to have like a very different one from normal, I feel like. Although Hamilton, I feel like, is a little different. But Sufjan Stevens, the album Carrie and Lowell, I could probably take all of his albums, but Carrie and Lowell in particular, I think this is probably, like, you've probably listened to music and it's affected you emotionally, whether it's you get super excited about it or maybe you're going through something and you feel it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But this album is is very personal for him. So he talks about the loss of his mom and things like that. But just listening to that song in particular, man, I like cried for like him. Like it's the first time I think I've ever cried listening to music and not like thinking of like my own personal like stuff, like just thinking about, like it hit me in that way. This album, it was just, it kind of struck me. But I mean, I love every song on this album, and it's just Sufjan Stevens is just like really, really good at what he does. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard any of his Christmas albums or anything like that.
I don't. The name isn't familiar, but I'll tell you, I'll go listen to it now, because your third pick you introduced me to, and I really like them, so I kind of trust you.
This is definitely different, so
I'll try it.
We'll see.
I'll pull it up on Spotify.
Perfect.
Yeah, because I'm in a family plan on Spotify, and I'll be honest, I don't really like Spotify.
Yeah. I tried Spotify for a while. None of them really are that great for me, to be honest.
The best has been Pandora for me, but
yeah,
you know,
they all leave a little bit to be desired. I used to be on Google Play Music when it was a thing, and I loved Google Play Music, and then it just like they got rid of it, and now
it's YouTube Music, right?
It's not as good, but I tried Spotify, and I don't like that. So
yeah, the only thing, I mean, I like that I can make. Like you can really make your own playlist with almost any song.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple of those, but really I use Spotify for the podcast. It's the same as any podcast app, but Anchor is a part of Spotify. So Anchor is a great podcasting platform that allows us to put out our audio podcast out there. So it's Spotify's great.
They do some things better than others.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Each one has a different. I'll say for a while I was on, and I don't even know if it's a thing. Beats Music, or the Beats app.
Oh yeah, I don't know if that still exists anymore now that they got bought by Apple.
Yeah, I don't think it does. But there was a short time, like, because I used to have AT&T, and so they gave it to you for free or for a trial or whatever, and I was really into that for a little bit. But yeah, it went away, so it wasn't all that great.
Yeah. So Sufjan Stevens, Carrie and Lowell, my second pick.
Awesome. I'm gonna check that out.
Check it out
tomorrow.
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to go last, or do you want to go last?
It's up to you. You tell me. I think both of our last picks are pretty good.
Okay. I feel like yours is a pretty universal classic, but
it is. Okay, so we'll end with that, because I think a lot of people maybe will agree with me. So I'm very agreeable.
You're very agreeable.
Yeah.
My number 3 pick is the Black Keys. I would probably take all of their discography, but I would also. So I'm like a Dan Auerbach fan. So he's the lead singer, guitar player for the Black Keys, and so he's released 2 solo albums, and he's also released an album under the band name The Arcs.
That I haven't heard.
Yeah, so you might like The Arcs. So it's fairly similar to the Black Keys. It's a little more, I'll just say, eccentric in the way the music sounds. But the Black Keys are my favorite band. I every once in a while will just listen to all of their albums in a row, just for no reason.
Good stuff. No,
just because I want to catch up on it.
Now you've seen them in concert, right? Or Dan, at least.
I've seen him a few times, and Dan. Yeah, I actually saw Dan Auerbach with my sister.
I think I remember that story.
I was with my sister. Yeah, we went to. Oh crap! I can't even remember the place. I've been to Stubbs, and I've seen. Actually, no. Yeah, I saw Dan at Stubbs, the outdoor venue
in Austin.
Yeah, that was. I think that's the last concert I went to. That was a few years ago though, and then I cannot think of that other place.
I think the last concert I went to was Hannah Montana.
It's good. It's a good factoid about you.
Yeah.
I can say I have not been to a Hannah Montana concert.
Well,
Was
your
it good?
girls weren't born yet, so no, because it was right at the end of her Hannah Montana phase or whatever. So it was like borderline, like, ooh, there's still young girls here.
Oh yeah, she's like, I'm trying to get my Miley Cyrus on.
Yeah, so it was an experience. But see, I've never been a concert person. Like, I don't go to concerts. Like, I just don't. I don't dig them. And I've seen Bob Dylan twice, which that I just couldn't. Like, I'm surprised he's not on my list. But
That's pretty cool.
Seeing Bob Dylan was pretty awesome, to say that I saw him in concert. But the guy tours like year round, anyways.
Still?
Yeah, he's still. I don't know if he's doing it year round, but he's out on the road a lot, and he hasn't come back this way in a while. It's taken him a while to get through Europe, because I'll check every once in a while, because I'd go see him again, just because it's Bob Dylan, right? But yeah, I just, concerts just weren't my thing.
If
I
you
don't like loud noises.
I'm not a huge concert fan. There are certain bands I will go see. If you like Bob Dylan, you should check out The Last Man on Earth. He's got a very Bob Dylan-esque vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like cough to death. He's really good. Singer-songwriter, pretty much guitar, his main instrument. But he's got the way he writes his lyrics is very Bob Dylan-esque. So
The Last Man on Earth?
Last Man on Earth. Check it out.
So if there was one concert, like you could go to one more concert, who would it be?
It would probably be the Black Keys, but it would depend on the venue. Because they only do stadium tours now, which I'm not really a big fan of, like going to the big arenas and stuff like that. I have no interest in doing that, so I haven't seen him since that. So it's nice that Dan will. I mean, he's by himself. He's not as big, so he still goes to like Stubbs and Austin. So if I could do that at like Stubbs and Austin, totally be fine. With the Black Keys.
I will say I forgot about. I saw Garth Brooks a few years ago.
Did you?
That was a really good show.
Was that before or after he was Chris Gaines?
It was after. It was like recent. It was like 2018, I think.
Okay.
His last, because he was Chris Gaines, and then he took time off. Then he played in Vegas, and then he went on tour. It was actually a really good show. And I'm not really a huge country fan, but I like Garth. Yeah, you have to like Garth.
I think Garth kind of expands the boundaries of country music listeners a little bit.
Right. But that was a good show. Like, he put on a show. Like, that dude worked, and so it was pretty good. It was pretty good. See, and I'm torn, like, who I would see, because I would love to see Imagine Dragons. I would love to see Dylan again. I would love to see Pearl Jam. I've never seen Pearl Jam. They're one of my favorite bands. So, like, I don't know, because I don't like concerts, so I don't know who the last concert would be. I don't know.
Yeah.
It probably will be Garth Brooks, because I probably won't go to another concert.
You're like, if Hannah Montana comes back, I'm totally on board for that, though.
Oh, that was probably the worst. That was bad. The girls had fun.
That's all
they had fun. Yeah, they had a good time. We did it for them. We had cool seats. Okay, so I'm going to finish off the conversation here, and I think we're going to put the desert island away for our podcast.
Wait, I thought we had one more.
Oh, we do?
I thought we were going to do video games.
Oh. Ooh. I'm going to like pull out some old ones. Okay.
Perfect.
That's next week. So we're almost done here with our desert island music. So tune in next week so that you can hear our top 3 video games that would last us the rest of our lives on a desert island.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Which I've got to say, from everything we've explained or everything that we've talked about the last few episodes, like this desert island is probably going to rock.
Right? I'd totally be fine going to this desert island at this point.
It's like, wow, I think I could, I think it would be paradise.
I could stay here for a while.
So my last pick for tonight or today would be the complete set of the Beatles. Yep. I find it surprising when I do hear that even now, like kids don't know who the Beatles are. And it's like, what? Really? Because like you have to know who they are. And shame on your parents. Shame on your parents.
You have to be exposed at some point.
Yes. And again, it just has to do with their growth and, being that rock sound from the 50s going all the way through, into the 60s and just their transformation in music. And I tell you who my last one would be. I will give a kidney to go see Paul McCartney.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
I've heard that his concert is amazing, even at over 70. Like he has even a few recent songs that he's done I really have enjoyed. I liked it, but he does some old Beatles stuff too. And so I would see Paul. I would go see Paul. If he came to town, I think I'd go see him. We ought to go do that. You want to go do that with me?
Sure. Depending on where he plays. Somewhere
in Texas. If he comes to Dallas, Houston, or San Antonio, or Austin, we're going to go.
I've only traveled once for a concert, and it was because of Melissa. We went to see Coldplay in Houston.
Coldplay.
She likes Coldplay.
Does she like Paul McCartney?
I don't know.
Do you love me more than Melissa? Because you should go to the concert with me then. We'll discuss it as a family. We'll bring Cassie into and Melissa. So as a family, we'll discuss seeing Paul McCartney in concert.
Perfect.
Hopefully he'll come to San Antonio and make it easier.
Yeah.
But I'm totally that's a date for me and you.
That'll
be a future date.
He's like 85.
I don't care. I've heard that guy puts on a show. So
back in the USSR.
There you go, man.
I think that's what he plays too.
He does that. Hey Jude. Did you see that movie about the guy that got amnesia and then?
Oh yeah, he woke up and nobody else knew who the Beatles were except for like a couple people. Yeah.
Oh, I loved that movie. That was a great movie.
It was good.
It was different,
but it was good. Yeah,
it was so. The idea was different.
Yes,
good movie. If you, I would see that. I'm gonna see it again. But so yeah, the Beatles, the whole album set, everything.
What is your favorite Beatles album?
Ooh.
You have to pick one.
I guess the White Album. Yeah, I'd have to go with the White Album. It's just that sound I like better than their first few albums. Yep. The kind of poppy rock stuff. I like it, but I think the White Album was just like, man, that was just good stuff.
Yeah.
Rubber Soul was good. Yeah, but White Album is my pick. How about yours?
Oh, like I like the Beatles, but I don't know if I've listened to like all of the Beatles albums.
Really? Because you're the kind of one that helped me get them.
Like, so I've listened.
To get them all?
I have listened to so my dad was really big into the Beatles. So my first like huge exposure to the Beatles was when they released their One album, which was like a greatest hits.
Right.
So I'm more familiar with like the greatest hits of the Beatles than I am with their complete discography. Okay. Like I said, I know a lot of the songs. I'm trying to think of the name of the song that is my favorite song. They have so many good songs, so I feel like if I say something, people would be like, "What? That song?" And why can I not think of what it's called?
Paperback Writer.
No. Paperback Writer.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I can't think of what it's called. Just keep talking until I search through all the albums and find out.
Is that what you're doing right now? Is you're
Yes.
looking through all the albums? Well, that's the greatness of doing this show, though. Doing it where
Yes.
with the webcam is that we're able to do Google searches on the fly, and you should probably be sharing your screen so we can see you hectically going through different albums. That's the perfect screen share there for this show. But yeah, I just think again the Beatles just changed. They came on the scene and they were so hot. It's almost like it would be interesting to see if their later stuff would have sold as good if they weren't so popular beforehand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, they did put out some very interesting albums.
They did, and and what I liked that, and McCartney still does it, but you know, him and John Lennon, they could write a song about almost anything,
and they did.
They did. The Taxman. I mean, who writes a song about collecting taxes? The Beatles. Really? Is that your favorite one, The Taxman? I like that one actually. That's a really good song. But like, I mean, it's just amazing stuff. And it reminds me of, I don't know if you've ever listened to the Traveling Wilburys.
Oh yeah.
And that was kind of the same thing. It was Roy Orbison, Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, George Harrison, supergroup. And they just sat down and wrote a song a day, and recorded it at the end of the day. I mean, it's just amazing songwriting and just pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Did you find it?
No, I'm apparently rubbish at finding things.
Well, I suggest you keep looking. And if you really want to know Craig's favorite Beatles song, you're going to have to tune in next week.
There's an ad playing.
Blackbird. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That one wasn't actually released on an album though, was it?
Was it not?
I don't know. I don't remember. I want to remember the first time I heard that. They ran a big documentary on the Beatles when I was in high school, and it was called the Beatles Anthology.
I think that was on the White Album.
Was it?
Was it maybe not one of the ones that got released with the actual album?
I don't think so. It may have been like a B-side to the single or something.
Maybe. How many sides were on this one?
I don't know.
We're obviously not
experts.
Hit Beatle history aficionados here.
We just I really like them, and you like them pretty good, but yeah. So that's good stuff. Next week, we are going to talk about video games, and don't be worried because I will have some old school ones.
Do some retro stuff. Don't be worried. You'll be left out with the new stuff.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, I really haven't picked up a controller since the Xbox. Well, 2K. I did a little bit of 2K NBA, but I haven't really picked up a controller in such a long time. So you will not be left out if you like the old stuff.
I think we should do a Let's Play with you trying to play Horizon Zero Dawn. That would be awesome. Do you know what a Let's Play is? It's where you record yourself playing and commenting while you're playing.
I would do that. Should I do that?
We should totally do a Let's Play with you playing that. I'll have to figure out how to do that.
All right, we'll work on that, and that will probably be more entertaining than any of our podcasts up to this point. Let me tell you, I'll tell you one of my favorite video games next week, and I could talk some trash. Let me tell you, I could talk trash playing video games. I don't know about you, but that was like I would light you on fire and then burn you while I was lighting you on fire.
He's on fire.
Exactly. So please tune in next week. Listen to our podcast, anywhere that you get podcasts. And we're using Anchor. Where else can they find us, Craig?
You can also find the video podcast on YouTube. YouTube, search for Geeking Out Ninjas. Although if you're listening to this, tell your friends really to do that.
Yes.
And I think we're also on the Facebooks, although the Facebook just links us to YouTube, right?
It links us both to the YouTube and to the audio podcast. It goes to both.
Fantastic.
So your preference.
Check us out. Leave comments. Tell us what you like, don't like, and subscribe.
All right. And we'll see you next week.
Ta-ta.